When you make it to the National Hockey League as someone from Newfoundland and Labrador, you enter a small circle.
Here's Teddy, personal backhand, he scores!
When you win the Stanley Cup, that circle gets even smaller.
Off the stick of Michael Ryder, no chance.
When you win the Stanley Cup and are from the capital city of St. John's, you stand alone.
Sprawling hit by Newhook to the forehand, he scores!
Alex Newhook may have left the island at 14 years old to develop his game, but no matter how long you go for, one thing will never change. You're an Islander, and you'll be one till you die. So with that being said, today we are going to explore the hometown of none other than Colorado Avalanche forward and proud Newfoundlander, Alex Newhook. We'll take a look at some of the spots he brought Lord Stanley, along with letting you in on a few local secrets. Let's get going. And in traditional Newfoundland fashion, it is a wet, cold, and foggy day. It is like June 2nd right now, but right behind me is the St. John's International Airport, which is where the celebration started for Alex Newhook when he brought the cup home to the province for the first time. Fun fact, it's actually the only airport in Newfoundland that has received the Stanley Cup. Hasn't made it way out to Gander yet, but it's cold, so let's go to the next stop. I'm freezing. Alrighty, we made it to McDonald Drive Junior High, home of the Grizzlies, and of course, Alex Newhook. I think the high school's there, and the elementary school is back there. I'd never really played this team growing up. I'll also, spoiler alert, I guess if you didn't know, I am a Newfoundlander, and I went to Claremont High. Schools very much look the same all across the island here, but yeah, I never did play against McDonald High very much growing up. But I will say, I'm not sure if they have it in there, but I'm kind of surprised that they don't have like a home of or like a little mural outside of like, you know, Alex Newhook. I know off the top of my head in St. John's, there's like one commemoration thing inside of mile 1. It's a banner up in the rafters that it's like Alex Newhook Stanley Cup champion. But any Newfoundlanders want to help me out here, because I'm kind of drawing a blank on any other like little like significant like home of Alex Newhook signs or anything like that. Like I know in Bonavista they've got a couple great ones for some of the NHL guys down there. I know Bay Roberts has something on the stadium, I think, for Dawson Mercer, if I'm not corrected. But let's go see if we can get a better view of the city despite all this fog. We just got on top of Signal Hill, one of the most iconic spots in St. John's and Newfoundland and Labrador, to be fair. It almost seems like a rite of passage. If you're from the province and you win something, you come up here for a couple of pictures. It's also where that iconic Newfoundlanders in the NHL photo was taken. Honestly, it's been so long since I looked at that, but I can probably name you off everybody in that picture still. Daniel Cleary, Adam Pardy, Teddy Purcell, Michael Ryder, Luke Adam, and Oh, I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting? Sorry, I gotta double check this. Oh, Ryan Clough. Oops, sorry, Ryan. But yeah, normally you either have a great view of the city or the Atlantic Ocean, but unfortunately today we get none of that. But let's go to where Alex actually started his Stanley Cup parade. It is cold and windy. So we just got to Bannerman Park, which is where Alex started his Stanley Cup parade here in the city. I very much do love this spot. I used to live right across the road there, and the fact that we've got like a swimming pool back there, a ball field, which is where he actually had some of the Avalanche Celtics, his like junior hockey or minor hockey team out, and you know, just a lot of green space, playground and a splash pad for the kids. I think it's great for the community. And also up here, if you can see that little like red house in the background, there's a loop here, and so in the summer, you know, or in the winter, it's a nice little ice rink for you to skate around in. It's no Rideau Canal like up in Ottawa, but it's pretty special. There's also lots of free parking around here, and you're only a short little walk from downtown, so this is actually where I like to come to avoid just having to pay a couple bucks for parking. A couple great coffee shops around, also a nice little pizzeria. I'm a little decaffeinated, so I think I'm gonna grab a quick cup of coffee before we head downtown to where the party was. So I got my coffee, but I actually wanted to ask you a little question. Who do you think is going to be the next Newfoundland and Labrador born player to make it to the NHL? I feel like the obvious answer is probably Zach Dean. First round draft pick, world junior champion, just got traded to St. Louis from Vegas actually. So I feel like he'll probably have a good opportunity next year, especially it seems like, you know, the Blues are in a little bit of a rebuild potentially. So I think he might be able to get to see a couple games. I hope so anyways. I met him when he was in Gatineau. Great dude, really hoping that he has a long career playing the sport that he loves. But yeah, anybody else that kind of comes to mind that you think maybe up and coming or whatnot? But we're losing daylight obviously, so let's get going. Good old George Street. Definitely a weirder vibe when there's not as many people here, but O'Reilly's is right behind me, which is actually where Alex took the cup for the night out to celebrate. Gotta say it's a good choice. If you know anything about George Street, this whole spot, it's basically known as like the most bars per like street in North America. I'm not a huge drinker nowadays, but I will say the times that I've been down here, O'Reilly's never does disappoint. Yeah, this is basically the center of all the parties. George Street Festival, it's where the Newfoundland Growlers have their Kelly Cup Parade celebrations. Pretty much anything major that needs a stage happens right here. Mary Brown Center is just like a street over. I think it's like a 10-minute walk. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a different vibe during the day as opposed to like 10 p.m. at night. We just got the Capital Hyundai Arena, which is one of Newhook's childhood rinks. I gotta be honest, because I'm filming all this on a Saturday, I kind of thought that there was gonna be potentially a game going on here. But right now, just your classic old-time barn, steel exterior. Let's see, maybe there's like one car here. Maybe the door's unlocked. No. All right, I'm not gonna try and break in for this video, but yeah, I thought that we were gonna be able to go in, but I was obviously wrong. But I don't know, I don't think I've actually ever been in here, but I gotta be honest with you, it kind of checks out to be pretty much any other Newfoundland rink for you. I actually kind of forgot about this, but I do have a little story for you. So when I was a U Ottawa student, the Colorado Avalanche used one of our facilities as a practice rink for the day when they were playing the Ottawa Senators, and I actually got to photograph that practice. Long story short, the Avalanche actually interacted with the little like practice photos that I did, and so I shot them a DM, literally shot my shot as hard as you possibly could, being like, hey, I can be at the Canadian Tire Center if you need me and photograph the game for you tonight. I knew like they had it covered, obviously, but I figured why not? They obviously said no, but it was pretty cool. And I must say, out of all the players that I've had the privilege of like seeing up front, close and personal, Newhook wasn't on the team then, but Nathan McKinnon, holy smokes, like the hype is real. There's like a few players that I've just been like, wow, like this is different. Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, two guys on that list. When I got to see the practice, even just the practice, how good he is in practice. How many times can I say practice? We ain't talking about practice here. We're talking about Nathan McKinnon at practice. Anyways, it was super impressive. Also really enjoyed that interaction that I had with the Colorado Avalanche social media team at the time too, so it was fun. So we made it to the Confederation Building. This is another spot where they had a little celebration for Alex. A lot of political stuff going on up here. Obviously the politicians, they debate stuff, talk about stuff, all that, you know, fun stuff. But fun little trivia question for you now. With the 3 different Newfoundlanders who have won the Stanley Cup and brought it to Newfoundland, 3 different premiers as well. So obviously Andrew Fury is currently the premier of Newfoundland and Labrador there now, but who are the other 2 premiers for when Newfoundlanders brought the Stanley Cup to the province? Let me know if you can figure that one out. And it's a lot windier up here. But anyways, let's get to our last spot of the evening. One of the things I do want to do in this video right quick though is come to Newhook's defense. So obviously I watched the Colorado Avalanche video of him and his day with the cup in the province. It was great, inspired, and actually helped out this video a lot. But one of the things that I noticed in the comment section is a lot of people were coming at Newhook because they're like, I can't believe he told that man to not touch the cup. As a Newfoundlander, let me provide you with a little bit of context and just kind of help explain that situation there for you. So the man who approached him, first of all, I was mind blown that the subtitle just said man as opposed to Bob Cole, the legendary hockey announcer and proud Newfoundlander. So Bob knows better than anybody that technically if you work or play the game, you really don't want to touch the cup until you get an opportunity to win it. So when Bob Cole approached Newhook, he made the joke being like, oh, you can't touch it before you win it. And Newhook laughed and just said, yeah, you can't touch the cup. Just reaffirming what Bob was saying. Listen, because I can promise you now, if Bob Cole wanted to touch that cup, not me, Newhook, any Newfoundlander or Labradorian is going to stop him. The dude is an absolute legend in this province. But yeah, Newhook I can promise you now, just from watching that situation and knowing who both parties were, there was no ill intent in that whole interaction, okay? So take it easy on Newhook. All right, so this is our last location in the video, Chess's Fish and Chips. This is one of my favorite locations. Unfortunately, they have now put the building up for lease, but as you can see, Newy had a nice little fish and chips dinner in his Stanley Cup, which I think is super iconic. Obviously a great dish for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. You can see here, this is like the old drive-through. Unfortunate that they moved away from this location, but I will say I want to do these videos all across the country and eventually the world. So let me know whose hometown I should do next. And if you enjoyed this video, I really think you're going to like this time when I went to Romania and spent about 3 days with the Romanian pro hockey team over there. All right, in the meantime, stay best kind.